this song is for my mama, mama, yeah. Esambo gichingo mama, kugira ngo umenye ishimwe riri mu mutima wanje. Nabyinshi wakoze kugira ngo maondo wabwiwe nabi na benshi niwuzura umunabi. Imbaraga z'umutima yo zirutisa amaboko yo, ko wicaye mu ntebe y'ababiri uyuzura burumwe. Yari ifite amaguru abiri wayibereye ukwa gatatu, yicaramo sinayirima. What we call you, mama, mighty woman, warrior, blessed woman, yeah, peaceful at the same time. You're a fighter, mama. You're a giver, not a receiver. Forgiver, tell me, mama, are you do that? Are you do that? Oh, bless my mama. Igwe Oluwa, thank you for my mama. Oh, mama. Mama, I love you so much. So much. Oh, mama. I love you so much. So much. Thank you, Oluwa.
Peace and blessings, and welcome to a global awakening origin. Which came first, the instrument or the music? The first physical instruments were bone flutes, drums, which begs the question, did the universe begin with a big bang? Or did life originally start with Sky Woman coming down to create Turtle Island with a sacred seed and mud? Or did Brahma emerge from a cosmic egg to create everything in existence? What does origin mean to you? And what might our collective origin mean in a world divided by every ism and schism and searching only for what's ahead and some shiny future? What does a supposed beginning have to do with our world so focused on endings? Why did the one divide itself to the many just to merge back into the one again? If we all started as one, one planet, one universe, one tribe, how come we've forgotten the essential ingredient of life, our interdependent origination? Is it just the original peoples of the world that know of their origin and their original instructions? Perhaps it wasn't the instrument or the music after all. It was rather the original consciousness that created and sang us all into being.
There is no us and them. There is only us. We're all connected, bound by one planet, one shared destiny. The time has come to change the narrative and remember who we truly are, beyond borders and differences. Let us heal what has been divided and restore balance to the earth we share. Join the Origin Global Celebration, October 17, 2026. Uniting 1 billion hearts in a synchronized moment of intention. One humanity rising together. The moment has come.
Yes, yes, y'all. Now we're gonna meet the founders of Origin. Chris Decker, 30 years of industry experience in conscious entertainment, one of the originators of the global concert for impact model and the true visionary behind my favorite festival, Earth Dance. Also, Dr. Zach Bush, a physician specializing in internal medicine, an internationally recognized thought leader in the gut microbiome as it relates to health, disease, food systems. He's working to tirelessly create a global community and a regenerative future for the health of all of Earth's children. Also, working closely with the third founder of Origin, Lamara Hartwell, who is the great-granddaughter of the co-founder of ExxonMobil. Lamara has actually dedicated her life to transforming and using her power as a philanthropist and activist to transform the legacies of the fossil fuel industry and really change at scale. Stay tuned, y'all, because there's some huge announcements later related to the Global Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty that's also coming out of COP30 in this broadcast.
So the origin of Origin. On my side, honestly, it started with a couple of years ago. I was having these visions come to me on a regular basis where I was seeing this is a time for humanity to come together and have there be a converging moment, and having us come together in person in a power spot on the planet, and at the same time having it be filmed and broadcast so people in communities all over the world could also be connecting in the same moment. That really what we're needing right now is this big reset to be able to go back to ground zero and remember the one thing that we all can unify on is that we're human and we all live on this planet. And seeing how much polarization there is in the world and disconnection and separation, that we're needing to have a unifying moment and a time to remember who we are and why we came here and begin again. And I had the auspicious experience of meeting Zach Bush in April of this year, and I couldn't believe when he shared this vision he had been in conversation about with Chris Decker, that it was literally to the T the vision that I had been receiving the last couple of years. So the inspiration that I have had for this Origin movement of bringing 1 billion people together and raising $1 billion for the planet is more about this call out to wealth holders to unify and to pool our resources, to catalyze this tipping point that we're all ready for on the planet, and to be able to have $1 billion go towards the most powerful projects and organizations on the planet right now that can take us to the whole next level on the earth, and bringing in new systems, new products, you name it, to be able to all be living here in a more regenerative way. Indigenous leaders from all over the world are prophesizing a really similar thing, which is right now we are at that time of this rebirth of the planet happening, where we begin anew. And there's so much in Indigenous cultures that those of us that are in the modern world, it is vital for us to remember, which is going back to the very simple principles of the nature of our bodies and this earth. And any of the Indigenous tribes, it's their way of life, where they are living very close to the earth, and they are using things like song and dance and coming together outside at night around a fire, for example, to pray and to release and let go of any emotions or things that don't serve, and be able to call in what they're ready to receive. And there's not a reaching for the interconnecting, that sense of interconnectedness with all of life. There's a deep knowing. And in the modern world, our desire with this Origin project is, in this moment of the actual event next October 2026, is that to have 1 billion people go outside and put their feet on the earth and remember. And ideally to be doing it with others, to be gathering with people of all generations, and to remember together, and to be hearing the same music and singing the same song.
Origin is a global event that is recognizing the opportunity to transform our story and our sense of identity as humanity in relationship to nature. For multiple generations now, we've had a story unfolding in which we feel that we are the problem on the planet, some sort of invasive, extractive, destructive force. And there's certainly evidence of our deep wounding that we've done to ourselves and the planet in the recent couple hundred years. And there's evidence that the Earth is prepared for a major rebirth on the tail end of this extinction threat that has emerged on the planet. And every time she does this, it comes back more beautiful, more intelligent, and more connected. And this is our opportunity to join that trajectory. It's a new trajectory for Earth, and it's a new trajectory for humanity. And the science and the social awareness planetarily is really preparing us for this unified event to really change our universal identity. Origin Festival is really here to pivot a few generations of humanity towards this new keystone relationship with the planet. A keystone species is one in which we witness an increase in biology, in its life force, in its biodiversity, and in its extent of connection wherever that species appears. Examples are the wolves in Yellowstone, the beavers in the southern rivers, the white lions in South Africa, the elephants moving through Central Africa. These animals have this tendency to restore ecosystems through this keystone species effect. We see evidence that humanity is prepared to be the greatest keystone species ever, one of the greatest co-creators with Mother Earth that she's ever created as we step into our birthright. Biology is physics before it is material. It's a phenomenon that we see at the embryonic phase of a single cell turning into an embryo in the womb of a woman. There has to be an energy field that guides the organization of one cell turning into 70 trillion cells. And that organizational template does not reside inside the cell. It is actually the field effect of the human being that is formed before the fetus begins its cellular expression. In the same way, humanity is ready for our new expression, and we sit here as a new embryo in the human history, and we are organizing to this field. Origin aims to do this collective event simultaneously across the world with activations in every biosphere that the planet offers, beginning with our in-person event at the Cradle of Humanity in South Africa. We will be sparking this trend of the field effect of the new origin throughout the world. And doing this together literally creates the space in which the cells will self-organize to this new embryonic design, this new embryonic expression of humanity. My deep wish is that the only thing that goes extinct in these coming years and decades is our inhumanity. We are ready for a new biology, and I really believe that this is our opportunity to set the field effect of a new story, to form that new humanity and our new relationship to an Earth that is already in her process of rebirth.
So I was producing this great wellness festival in the Maldives. It's a gorgeous island, this eco island, and inviting thought leaders and wellness experts from around the world to come to this festival. And Zach was one of our keynotes that I invited last year, actually. It was in October. And we met there and he downloaded it. We got to know each other and had this great immediate connection. And he shared with me on the island this vision he had of doing an event called Origin at the Cradle of Humanity, which was north of Johannesburg. He had a download. He told me he shared this download he had there about our origin of humanity. So it was like a sort of birthing point, if you like. And he came up with this idea of this festival. He had this vision of a sort of a modern festival happening, you know, in that area in South Africa. And I was like, oh, that's incredible vision, Zach. And why don't we take it just from a South African local event to a global event? Because I've been, you know, workshopping and holding the vision for sort of a 2.0 Earth Dance concept for a long time, for some years now, and working with Hubcast and all my peers, you know, sharing this idea. And then both Zach and I just went bing, the light bulbs went off. I was like, okay, let's do it, you know. And this is how it started. I think, look, I always tell when people say, oh, you created it. I said, no, I didn't create anything. You know, it's actually the we that created it, because it's a co-creative, collaborative project. By nature, Earth Dance was a user-generated concept, and I've left Earth Dance already like around 5-6 years now. It's still going on. Still about 100 Earth Dances that are owned and run and you know, passionate people are still doing around the world under the concept of Earth Dance. So same thing with Origin. You know, it's this idea that it's not coming from Zach and I or just a small group of people. It's actually a collective project. And I hear that more and more, like people are like, oh, we've been, you know, this is a great, I had this idea. And so it's like the collective has come together to create.
Wow, wow, wowee. Now that you've heard the source code from our founders, let's keep this celestial ball rolling, which is apropos because now we visit with the primordial sound of creation heard through the amazing lens of Om. That's OMMM, a global collective dedicated to the revelation of consciousness through any means necessary. This is such a beautiful, beautiful project. We're gonna visit with them as they go on their latest epic and mythological production of the Bolivian Amazon, where they brought together a remarkable group of musicians, scientists, elders, and wisdom keepers to not only perform for nature, but to make offerings and to heal with the greater than human cosmos.
How we came up with this event was we were in Bolivia and we were aware that COP30 was coming up, which is going on right now in Belém. It was branded as the first rainforest COP.
It was a very fascinating proposal, right? Go to, you know, move away from a human focus, go into the Amazon and play music to the trees, the plants, and the animals.
You know, instead of being so extractive from nature, what happens if we give to nature? What happens if we just love nature? What if we show her gratitude? How do we do that? Do we do it with prayers? Do we do it with offerings? Do we sit and meditate and forest bathe? Do we sing? And, music is a big part of Om. So we did all of the above.
We came to the Amazon with a simple intention: to offer love back to the planet that gives us life. A concert to nature, because when we show gratitude to the earth, she responds. This is Love Your Mother. To understand how to do this with sincerity, we learn from those who have never forgotten. Indigenous leaders from the Amazon and the Andes, wisdom keepers who live in continuous relationship with nature, guided us through 4 days of elemental ceremony. Air, water, fire, earth, not as ceremonies to watch, but as ways of remembering that nature is alive and listening. And we offered music, vibration, frequency, devotion, a universal language of appreciation. Because music isn't just sound, it's emotion, it's intention. It's how we say to the planet, we feel you, we honor you, we are here. Scientists captured subtle shifts in nature's resonance during moments of song, coherence, and prayer. Early signs reflecting what we already feel in our hearts. The earth responds to love. And sometimes she responds visibly. After days of stillness, the river rose overnight, meeting our voices with her own. Wisdom, ceremony, science, and intention culminated in a concert for nature. Artists from Bolivia and around the world, not performing for applause, not singing to entertain, but offering their voices to the forests, to the river, to the sky. Nature was the co-creator, the star. More than a concert, Love Your Mother is a ceremony of gratitude, where music becomes devotion and the earth listens. Because when we show up with love, nature responds in energy, in movement, in resonance, and in the quiet, undeniable knowing that we are part of her and she is part of us. This is how we heal the world and how we heal ourselves.
But there's nothing like just being there and hearing the birds and the crickets and the animals just join in, and seeing birds fly in and just be there, amongst it. That to me was almost the most powerful thing.
I felt nature receiving the serenade that was going on. I felt nature receive and almost sing back to me. It was like we were singing together to each other. It was really beautiful. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before.
And realizing that the animals react differently to different sounds. I was just communicating with a monkey who was just, we were going on a little trip together. I was singing, the monkey was singing. Generally, I noticed that what they really love, which is a universal sound for taking care, for mothering, and that's the humming sound. I had a monkey on my shoulder just slowly falling asleep as I was humming, And up to that, we were in ceremony with the abuelas, with the indigenous tribes of Bolivia, and they showed us their rituals and their ways to connect with nature, with Pachamama, and offering thanks to her. So we had 4 rituals every day connected to a different element, to the water, the air, the earth, the fire.
And it was extraordinary because the very next day when we were going to do our ceremony, go and look at the venue and the space that we were having this concert, and the wind whipped up. I mean, I happened to do my salutations to the sun in the morning on the grass, and the wind was so heavy it was nearly blowing me over. And then we went to the place where we were having the concert, and the wind again was speaking to us. It was like really alive. And then the next day was the water ceremony, and we'd driven past the very big river in Bolivia, which is the one of the feeders to the Amazon River.
And another thing was the river was completely dry when we got there. I couldn't believe it. It was horrifying in a way, just where's the river?
The day of the water ceremony, the river was dried and there were torrential rainfalls and lightning, the biggest, longest lightning that I'd seen, which meant the next day the river was overflowing. But not only was it overflowing, we were singing by the river and the water would come up and splash with each note.
Maybe it was just coincidence, but it did feel like a response, let's say that.
Un mundo que está tan materializado o convertido a un materialismo y al metalismo del dinero, a mí me parecía muy importante encontrar a un grupo de personas que tengan el interés por la espiritualidad.
In this world, which is full involved of the materialism and full of material things, for him to meet some people who is care and sensitive about the world and what's happening in the world, and mainly for the spirituality, give him a lot of joy and happiness.
We all agreed that it would be vitally important to have the indigenous peoples, the indigenous communities from the land that we were going to go and create this concert in gratitude and appreciation for the earth to be present. We wanted not only for them to be included, but also to be blessed by them, so that they felt completely honored in this project.
The universe is assembling beautiful communities of people that want a better way, that are a little bit exhausted, quite frankly, of everything that's going on, and want to put their attention and their energy towards something that's positive.
When you're caring for the planet in the way that you would care for someone you love, which is how it should be, that we should treat nature like our most precious lover, how we would treat them, then it changes, and love is action.
The one thing that I understand is that we are also in a crisis of imagination. And so having this concert in the middle of the Amazon is about imagination and love and beauty. And that was so powerful to be a part of that ceremony, hoping that we can do something, not only for us right now, but something for future generations.
I think that we're all stuck in this cult of productivity. So to drop into pure consciousness, pure awareness, through whatever means that is, whether it's through sound, through meditation, through breath work, I think it's absolutely vital that we tap into our full dynamic range of consciousness. And I think sound does have the power to do that in a way that you don't really have a choice.
The world is vibration. We've heard it so many times. Everybody's saying it. Everything is vibration. Everything is resonance. Everything is connected to frequency. What we see, we're living in a world of frequency. So, of course, sound is the answer. Of course, music is the answer.
Good vibrations, the vibrations who healing people help the people to discover and to connect with this nature. So we need to create the new vibrations who help all of us to support each other and make us stronger.
Everybody has a different strand or a different way of connecting to source or the universe or God, if you even want to use that word. And so find your strand and commit to practicing to it every single day.
Wow, thank you, Om. What an extraordinary journey to Bolivia and to the Amazon, bringing artists, scientists, all of these extraordinary folks together. I was definitely with you all in spirit, had that invitation. Just amazing. I can't even imagine having a monkey on the shoulder instead of monkey on my back. You know what I mean? Anyway, I am just absolutely delighted because we have now, tuning in with us live from Sao Paulo Airport, post COP30, our senior Hubcast correspondent, Rebecca Irby. Please welcome Rebecca.
Hey,
How you
Aaron,
doing,
so
Rebecca?
great to be here with you. Oh my goodness, it looks wonderful over there. Thanks for
Oh,
having me on.
we are so happy and so grateful for your dedication just to be there. What a journey. Tell us about your COP30 experience in the Amazon and this convergence at this existential moment for humanity.
Thank you so much, Aaron. It's really been absolutely incredible. I've seen a number of COPs on UN TV and through live streams. This is actually my first time getting to go in person. And for all of the COPs that I've seen in the past, this one was actually called the People's COP and the COP of Truth. And it was such an honor to be there and be able to engage with so many of the Indigenous leaders. It was truly heartwarming and touching. We really got to engage with all of the elements, which you'll see throughout this entire broadcast. It's it was intense at times. Fire even came and visited us at the conference center. And that was my last day at COP. And I think it's interesting the irony of talking about how hot the world is becoming, specifically in the Amazon. It was one of the main issues that the Indigenous folks were bringing to us. And to see the conference center actually catch on fire due to the heat that was there. And it was an electrical fire. It wasn't set by anyone. It was actually miraculous that no one was injured. I think we have some clips that we'll be showing throughout about what happened, but it's incredible to see what happens when we welcome in ancient knowledge and it comes and shows us exactly how powerful it just is.
Wow, mic drop for that. And it is so symbolic. I've been thinking a lot about this notion of tech as spelled as an acronym TEK, traditional ecological knowledge, and that plants are operating at a much lower temperature. And when we invest in those stewards of the plants of the world and these bioregions, first and foremost our indigenous peoples, you know, stewards of what, 80% of global biodiversity, and yet only 5 to 6% of global population. Yeah, that is deep. And
Really
I'm so glad that you were there. I'm so excited about sharing out the incredible connections and interviews and all of what has happened there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it. Yeah, it's just so important to have an honest, sort of democratic voice to these global convenings with all of these sectors and delegates converging. Can you tell us a little bit about the interview that we're going to share out now?
Yeah, I believe we have the interview with Mendahi, and he is the founder of Earth Elders, such an incredible organization. And one of the messages that came across pretty much every single interview that I did there, but specifically with him, is there can be nothing created without the people that are impacted the most. You know, in all of these communities, we have a saying, nothing for us without us. And that came through so loud and so clear in this People's Cup and Cup of Truth. I'm excited to share his message to not only the world, but specifically to the leaders working on all of the negotiations. It's, in my humble opinion, I find it insulting almost that the elders are not invited into the negotiations. They're invited to the conference. They were here. That's a huge step. But the fact that they're not treated as subject matter experts, which they truly are, and the fact that they're not invited into the high level negotiations, that's something that really needs to change, and something that I'm dedicated to ensuring we can bring more of our Indigenous leaders, our elders, into these high level negotiations and ensure that they're treated with as much respect as leaders of any country. And honestly, we should really be treating them with the most respect. They hold all of our ancient knowledge. And I'm really excited that we get to hear directly from some of our elders in this COP and in this program.
Beautifully said, and I just love that as an opportunity for us to grow into representing the global village, most honestly, you know, from the children all the way to the elders and the full rainbow of the spectrum of humanity, especially those that have that unbroken lineage of wisdom, as you said, that ancient wisdom. And so thank you so much. And folks, let's check this interview out. We're going to keep the show rolling. Peace.
Thank you, Aaron.
So Mendeha, thank you so much for joining us today for this interview. I wanted to ask you, what was your hope in coming to COP?
Well, this is my almost 15, 16 COP. I was in the first one when the documents were signed in 1992 in Rio.
Amazing.
So from that space, time and space, to now, we are in Brazil again. It means from Rio to Belém.
Yeah.
It's a long journey. We have seen that the only document that was very strong, it has been the Paris Agreement. But many aspects of the Paris Agreement are not binding. So that's the problem. So my desire as original nations, communities and peoples is to be taken into consideration in the decision-making process. Because we are not parties, but we are the most affected.
And you have the most knowledge of how to help sustain and remediate.
Yes, because we know how to envision nature as sacred.
Yes.
The sacred relationship that we have with the animals, with the plants, with the minerals, with the sky, with the stars, is a sacred one. So when you hear about negotiations, it's a very important word because they are thinking about this system, the system that destroys life and takes over.
That's destroying
and extract instead of giving back, instead of taking care, giving care.
Stewardship.
So that's what we are seeing in that we could see a change, but we are not seeing that change. So our desire is that really is not just to be taken into consideration as another sector, but
as leaders, as
the leaders, as the leaders that we are, because we have the ancestral wisdom, how to behave, how to care, how to really honor the past, but also honor the future. It's not that we are proposing something. We are doing it.
Yes. You live there.
We are living there.
Protectors.
So that's why we are here to call the attention.
Yes.
Because it's not just humans who are suffering. It's our relatives. It's the plants, the animals also who are disappearing.
Family.
They are family. So Father Sky, we call Father Sky, the amount of pollutants, the amount of CFCs that are in the sky also are killing us, and it's not allowing to Mother Earth to breathe. Because it's like, the heat is kept here, and it's not allowing for Mother Earth, and we are suffering. So Mother Earth and Father Sky are crying because of misbehavior of human agency, misbehavior of the policies that are favoring just the business.
Exactly.
So corporations and all that, not all the corporations, because some corporations are transiting.
Okay.
Some of them. So we call to all corporations to transit from being pollutants to be stewards as well as we, because we all have the responsibility.
Me too.
And plus that, we are asking them and to the states to be not just responsible, but to act in a collective way, because we are talking about the care of life. The care of life implies to change all the permissive laws, like the environmental laws, to go from those to the rights of nature, and from the rights of nature to go to the earth jurisprudence. Because still the rights of nature is anthropocentric. We need to go beyond and to acknowledge the law of nature, the law of the universe.
Yes.
So the time is going to come, we know it, but the lessons are going to be hard, because this mother is also an intelligent being.
Yes. She is alive.
So it's just to let everyone knows what is going on, because the loss of biocultural diversity is the loss of life.
Yes. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like the viewers at home to know?
Yes, this is a call for you. If your life, if your family, if your community, if your enterprise, if your country, your government are not given enough care of life, we invite you to come back home and remember who we are in the concept of life. We are just another species. We need to regain collective dignity as human beings. This is the time, and the time is now to act, to feel, to come together in this unification process for the good living and for the care of life. Kamadi.
Thank you so very much. So Kishi, your time here. I actually work at the United Nations, and I just started a committee for dignity. And I would love to invite your organization, Earth Elders, to join us. And one of the big projects we are working on is to ensure that all Indigenous elders are recognized as leaders, as the subject matter expert.
Excellent.
And so that's the UN stated goal. My goal on top of is to create an office of Indigenous relations so that you are recognized as a state, as the leader of your land. So those are, we have 5 years. I've been elected. So we're going to be working on that in the next 5 years. And I would really love to work with you closely on that.
Sounds really.
Thank you so much.
So let's keep in touch. You have my.
Absolutely. Do you hug?
That's it. That's it.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. So join us in this critical moment in human history. May your day be blessed.
We have less than 10 years to work together to prevent irreversible damage to our planet and its inhabitants. Join us to become part of the solution to the world's most pressing environmental and social challenges. When you become a Global Green member, your donation will help us create a world that shows respect for nature, protects universal human rights, and promotes a culture of peace. We support underserved communities by creating catalytic programs that educate and empower residents to address climate change in their neighborhoods. Our international reforestation projects help revitalize the planet's lungs and our greatest source of biodiversity. With the support of people like you, we will be the change we wish to see in the world, together.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Really excited to continue threading this global yarn, this narrative, this mythological moment, as it were, for humanity. As we heal our core relationship with Mother Earth, we are going to go back to the heart of the Amazon, to Belém, to COP30, the Conference of Parties, to visit with one of our extraordinary, truly remarkable world changers, Mr. Jimmy Cohen, a Hubcast correspondent on the ground, as well as the Grow founder of TreeGens. Jimmy, what's up? I'm so excited to see you. Can't wait to hear about COP. How has your experience been? Tell us everything, bro.
My experience has been nothing short of life-changing. I'm being able to speak with so many environmental leaders, both on the ground, NGOs, and ministers of environment, has really led to this coalition to flourish from what started as one country setting a world record by getting 714 million trees planted in a single day. That was in Ethiopia, 29 million planters. So now we have 9 countries committed to doing the same thing, a countrywide tree planting day. It's going to be historic. On June 5th, World Environment Day, we will be getting more than 1 billion trees planted in a single day, which has never been done before, but we're going to make it happen. And we've also connected with some massive funds and folks that can fuel this regenerative activity on the ground. And it's just been a melting pot of some of the most passionate environmental, people who are taking action in so many different ways, coming together so that we can be stronger together and make even more impact. So it's been absolutely phenomenal so far.
Extraordinary. It truly gives me hope for my just now 9-year-old daughter and her generation and the next 7 generations. When we plant a tree, we know that we may not sit under the shade of that tree. We may not harvest its fruit, but that is one of the most profound archetypal gifts in so many ways. I just bless you for this work and for mobilizing and bringing together these different intersections, the different sector leaders, delegates, world leaders. This is really happening, and at a time when we face global collapse, ecological collapse. This, to me, represents the tipping point, the tip of the spear as to how we heal. Thank you so much for being there and for doing this work, Jimmy. Please, share a little bit more about how are those interactions? What do those moments feel like? And how does it feel for you, to be a voice piece for so many of us that have been working toward this?
The interactions are really far beyond what I could have imagined. I mean, I expected some folks to, give a thumbs up about this, but actually right after COP30, the Venezuelan government is flying me to Venezuela such that we can start taking action immediately. Though we have about 7 months until this massive tree planting day happens, we're already taking action right now. And there's so much enthusiasm from certain ministers of environment to unite their whole country, to bring everyone together and to make history by getting more trees planted in a 24-hour period than have ever been planted before. And that's just the beginning. Once we accomplish that, right? It's going to lead to so much forward momentum to keep breaking such records and regenerating. And I'm a part of TreeGens, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, people all around the world taking action in so many different ways as a part of this DAO. And there's so many different, not just countries, but NGOs and influencers and indigenous communities at the center of that as well, that are really coming together under one movement so that we can take massive action. And just like how, one thing that I've been kind of a little bit obsessed with is the 4-minute mile. So for decades and decades, tons of people tried to run an entire mile in less than 4 minutes. And people tried and they tried, and most people thought it wasn't possible. And then one year, a person called Roger Bannister ended up running a full mile in under 4 minutes. And then that same year, dozens of other people also broke the 4-minute mile. And so this is like the 4-minute mile of regeneration. Now tens of thousands of people have broken the 4-minute mile, where, well, we're going to plant 1 billion trees in 24 hours. And that's definitely not going to be the last time it happens. It's going to keep happening and happening because people will see what is possible. And then the next goal will be 8 billion trees, one for every human in the world. But we got a bit of an indigenous demonstration that's happening right now. I don't know if you can hear the drums being banged. There's a lot of passion at this conference. Multiple protests that went in through the entrance, breaking through the security walls. There's passion comes from pain at the end of the day, and it's clear there is a lot of pain with people losing their homes, their habitats, these beautiful forests, and people aren't taking it anymore. They're taking massive action. They're standing up. They're not okay that a couple weeks before COP they approved oil drilling at the mouth of the Amazon, one of the most biodiverse, rich parts of the planet. It is not okay, and people are really standing up for that and taking all the action that is required to finally make a change. It's long overdue, but it's finally happening, and I'm really excited for it.
Thank you for acknowledging the pain and the grief and the extraordinary moment that we're in, and for being a evolutionary response to the call from Pachamama, from Gaia. I was reminded when you were sharing of that beautiful quote that we are pushed by pain until pulled by a vision. And so we have this vision now, and we have this possibility, and we know that others are pushing the limits and gamifying the healing of Mother Earth and making it joyful and fun and dynamic and collaboratory and financially prudent. So thank you so much for your extraordinary work, Jimmy. I'm so excited to collaborate on all sorts of aspects. We're here as one massive coalition, the Five-Fingered Clan, they call it. But tell us about this next interview and the moment that this happened and where we're going.
Okay, so I'm fortunately not here in Belém alone. I'm joined with an incredible team, and Daniel of Is There Enough, saw as soon as the Minister of Environment from Indonesia left the pavilion after giving a speech, he was swarmed by media and all kinds of people trying to get his attention, and some of them were kind of shooed away as he, walked off. But Daniel boldly just stood right in front of them in his path and said, "Hey, you got to meet this guy called Jimmy. You know, he's the Guinness World Record holder of tree planting, and he has a way to unite your country to break another tree planting record." And he did that, and he said, "Absolutely, let's do it." And we went back to the meeting room within the office of Indonesia, and you know, Indonesia has more mangrove trees than any other country on this planet, and the mangroves are absolutely vital ecosystems. They're not only incredible carbon sinks, but they help with biodiversity. So many animals thriving around them. They protect the shorelines. They even help the coral reefs and life below water. They're an ecosystem that is so important. And so to have the whole country of Indonesia, but at the end of this interview, you know, we're shaking on it and we're committing to it. You know, it's absolutely transformational. And that was just the first domino of many that have been falling down. And by the way, anyone who's listening can also plant a tree right now. We actually dedicate one tree for every follower. So you can get the latest updates of all these things that are coming out, and you will see your tree as well. So if anyone just goes to the X platform, that's x.com/thetreegens. That's TheTreegens. So the Tree Gens. It's at the TreeGens. You will get a tree dedicated to you. Easiest tree you'll ever plant. And you get the latest updates on everything that's happening with the Coalition.
Let's grow. I love this so much, Jimmy. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to jump into this moment here and continue with this extraordinary origin broadcast, A Global Awakening.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. First of all, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. So, my name is Jimmy Daniel. And so first of all, as you know, I broke the Guinness World Record for tree planting for an individual. What? The reason I did that is because we're trying to break another record. Most trees planted by any number of people. And that goal is to plant 1 billion trees in 24 hours. 24 hours. This is going to be an official Guinness World Record. Just a couple months ago in Ethiopia, we managed to plant 714 million trees. There's one country. So here at COP, we're forming a coalition with many countries. Let's hunt together so that we can make history.
And we believe we can bring a lot of attention to your focus in carbon through ordinary people understanding tree planting, then understanding carbon, then understanding Indonesia's leadership in this. I think this could be a net positive for you as well as to help reach the goal. Not only did they plant 700 million trees last year, they involved 29 million people on their phones, 29 million volunteers, bigger than any army in human history. But you got to see it on the news, right? Next year, we want to make big news out of it.
All right. So, Arthur, can I ask you, what are your goals as environment minister? What would you like to accomplish? Do you have any goals for tree planting or for the environment?
Well, do you have any goals for sasaran untuk penanaman pohon dan penanaman pohon? Yes, I think you have several program and objective to the restoration several ecosystem, mangrove, forest, land, forest, is tropical forest, and peatland. Yeah, the trees area we develop with my staff. It's as mangrove we have target. I sorry because it's about langs it's a delay. Yeah, we don't. But we have the data, but no, we not prepare it. Yeah, I think we can to discuss again. But we have the mangrove with tropical rainforest and the concept peatland. The tiga area which we develop as some target, but I not so. For
and more mangrove than any other country in the world.
And Indonesia have 3.4 million mangrove, the biggest of the world. Yeah, we have 23% of the mangrove in the world. Yes, of the whole 23%. Yes, yes. but we have to 700,000 hectare land degraded of from the mangrove. Okay, yeah, degraded from mangrove. Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
So you got some work cut out.
yeah, yeah. It's the target with the rehabilitation. Yes.
So what is the legacy that you would like to leave behind for the next generation?
Oh yes. Okay. Uh, I think we we are concerned, yeah, to the rehabilitation, to the legacy for the next generation. Because it's very important. We talk about the Java Island, Java Island, which the people among almost 150 million people in the Java Island. Yeah, Java Island is only 13% from the land area of Indonesia, but in Java Island occupied by the 150 million people. It's very dangerous.
Total 280 million. Yeah, 40
Yeah,
and when I'm
almost 50% people in Indonesia stay in Java Island. Java Island in Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya. Yes, it's Java Island. It's more dangerous. We must to we know the engagement every municipal, every government to together to start a rehabilitation in the up 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 uphill daerah atas apa? Northern, yes, yes, give you sorry, yeah. London, daerah-daerah tinggi uphill in the highland. Highland, in Highland, yes, yeah. Because it's in Highland is very degraded. And if the rain is very heavy, it's flooded. It's flooded. It's every time. I think once, yeah, very extended. Yeah, but yeah, not extended. I think one year until 6-7 times is occurring apa kejadian. It's getting worse in the vacancy, yes. In the Java Island, yes.
Okay, so the legacy you want to leave behind is to regenerate that degraded lands. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think it would take to mobilize the Indonesian population to regenerate? Because the reason why Ethiopia was so successful was they got 29 million people together. They said it's a tree day. Today we all plant trees. How can we make that happen in Indonesia? What do you think it was?
It's not even a possibility. What sort of decision making is involved for Indonesia to commit a day like today is tree planting day? Yes, I think it's inspired for me. Yes, it's inspired. But several months ago, yeah, I think once ago we go to familiar the program, but and the quiz, the one point what went up day. I think
World Cleanup Day.
our country to they would go here and he first. He said he must be very interested in promoting Indonesia as a leader. Yes, for this specific area, very much.
Also, there are channels.
Okay. Do you have the entire program?
Absolutely, yes. So June 5th is World Environment Day for the United Nations. June 5th.
Yeah.
So we have about 7 months.
7 months
to plan.
Yes.
To mobilize as many people as possible so that we can make history together.
We will give you tools. Yes, yes. Communication to communicate with stakeholders and also with the public that we would work out together, but we will help you with this. I need your detailed program. Yes. With this, with him, we can to develop in the Indonesia.
Yes.
We support you. Very support you. Let's
grow. Let's grow.
We are going to support you. Yes.
So there are also funding channels to help this in the carbon specifically self-accelerate.
Bottom spin.
Yes, the spirit. It'll come later. Come after. Okay. So,
is there enough? Okay. Is there enough? Is there enough food? Is there enough planting? Is there enough courage? Is there enough agreement, cooperation? Yes. Who is founding this?
So I started Tree Gems. That's my organization. Yeah. And then you started is there Tree Gems. Bus.
This guy.
Yes, I'm from Australia. There's many countries.
Is more than this one day. Yeah. Tree Gens is a lifetime economy that rewards people for planting trees all the time.
Also gamifies, fun game, ranking,
Activities, sports. Imagine tree planting like a sport. He invented this.
Grow Olympics. Yes. Like Olympics for planting. Grow Olympics. Yes. So, Honorable Hanif, of course there are many details you have to work out. But are you committing to June 5th World Environment Day to do what we can to make tree planting this?
Save our planet is very important. Thank you so much.
So excited. It's going to be incredible.
Because I really forester. Yeah, really forester. But as we was here, I'm forester. Which I was young, we needed a time to deploy and forester. Yes. May I say, the wealth of the world is built by agreement. When we say yes, is when we can start to implement things, not when they're perfect, when we say yes, like you just did. We have details to work out, of course, right? But first is the spirit of saying yes. So thank you very much.
Let's grow.
Peace.
Let's grow! 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 Let's grow!
There is no us and them. There is only us. We're all connected, bound by one planet, one shared destiny. The time has come to change the narrative and remember who we truly are, beyond borders and differences. Let us heal what has been divided and restore balance to the earth we share. Join the Origin Global Celebration, October 17, 2026. Uniting 1 billion hearts in a synchronized moment of intention. One humanity rising together. The moment has come.
Hi, my name is Ivan, and I am an activist and media creator. I have been working for over 15 years to bridge Indigenous cultures in Central, South, and North America and share their voices through documentary films, events, and online campaigns. I am the founder of Voices of Americua, which is an online platform that shares the stories of Indigenous people in the fight to protect their territories and Mother Earth. The messages of all the Indigenous people that I have been collaborating with through the years come together in specifically around the theme of water, about water protection, because water is life. And in the case of where I am now, I am in Belen, in the Amazon, bringing a project called Futuro Amazonia, which is about sharing stories and solutions that are coming from the Amazon and from Indigenous communities as solutions to climate change. Because climate change is one of the biggest threats that we're facing to planet Earth and to humanity. But Indigenous people hold a very important piece to protecting and to developing climate resilience because of the role that they have in protecting the biodiversity and great amount of territories of the Amazon, which is a very important ecosystem for the entire planet. A common message that they share is that we need to stand together to protect Mother Earth and to protect our waters for the future generations. I live in central Mexico in the area called Bosque de Agua, the water forest. and which is a region that is very important for the amount of water that it provides to one of the biggest cities in the world, which is Mexico City. And this area provides 70% of water to 25 million people, which are in Mexico City. This is in the state of Morelos, where I live, just an hour south of Mexico City. The Amazon Flotilla was a collective dream that was born in the headwaters of the Amazon in Ecuador, where a group of indigenous youth had a dream, a vision that they wanted to come to the climate change conference in Brazil to bring their message. This is a very important moment to have one of the biggest environmental and climate change events happening in the Amazon region, where there's a very important solution for climate change being held here, and many of the future of the Amazon and of these very important biomes that are being discussed here by world leaders. So a group of indigenous youth had a vision and looked for international support to be able to bring a flotilla through down the Amazon River to Belém in Brazil and bring their message to the world leaders. The age ranges of the flotilla members were from 23 to 40, and we had even somebody that was 65. There was a great variety. Most of them were youth, but we also had indigenous leaders from more than 20 different indigenous communities, and also we had non-indigenous community communicators and filmmakers that came along to support the efforts of the flotilla. The flotilla traveled 31 days from the headwaters in Ecuador, in Coca, all the way to Brazil, passing through 4 different countries, Ecuador, Peru, Colombia, and finally arriving in Belém in Brazil. And in this journey, the purpose was to visit and meet different communities along the Amazon River to learn about what they are doing to protect their territories, also to exchange solutions, to learn about also the problems of contamination, of oil contamination, of illegal logging, of invasion of their territories, and to discuss solutions and to learn how communities are organizing to protect their territories from all of these threats, and what are some of the success and achievements that they have had to be able to share that and learn and bring those experiences back to their communities. Many of them are indigenous communicators, are indigenous leaders, youth leaders that have been working for learning for a few years and are now have brought their passion and their experience to be able to create this intercultural exchange between different indigenous communities and then be able to bring and share their message here at COP30 in Belém. In reality, the idea behind the flotilla was to have one boat bring all the people all the way to Belém. But in reality, that was very expensive. So it actually consisted in different modes of boat travel. Each country has their own public boats that connect, that go down from one region to the other. So we actually used local public boats as transportation. Some of these were ferries, all sizes of ferries that fit up to 150 people, to small boats that fit up to 20 people. So for the different legs of the journey, that was changed, that it was depending on which leg of the journey, we used different types of boats, sometimes ferries and sometimes smaller boats. It was definitely an adventure. The team was very well organized. I personally am not one of the organizers of the Amazon Flotilla. I was invited to come support and document part of the journey. So I joined in Colombia. I joined in half of the way of the journey, and in the border between Colombia, Peru, and Brazil, what is known as the triple border. By then, the group had already been traveling for 2 weeks, but many of them being indigenous people, they are used to living in community, used to working sleeping together in hammocks, preparing food together. So there was a lot of community experience brought into practice there, and how it was very well organized. The group Kipa from Ecuador did a marvelous job. They had a team and were able to fix and organize logistics throughout the way. There is actually a film that is going to be made. We had 3 different films made for one leg of the journey, which was from Colombia to Manaus, a 4-day journey on a ferry. And during that time, a group of filmmakers that are called Muyuna Film Festival from Peru taught a filmmaking workshop to a lot of the youth and divided into 4 groups, and they created 4 different short films that will be shared. You can follow all the work at amazon.flotilla in Instagram, where a lot of the films and media will be shared. We also had one youth from Indonesia come and join the flotilla for the entire time, and in total there were more than 60 people that came on and off during the entire journey. As we were coming to Belém, the feeling was of excitement, but also a lot of feeling of despair for having visited many territories that are suffering grave problems and issues and learning about these things and seeing the contamination of the rivers and seeing the trees being cut down. And many of the flotilla members were very angry that this is still going on, angry that that governments are not doing enough to protect human rights, because in Colombia and Brazil have one of the biggest numbers of assassinations of environmental leaders and of indigenous people in the world, and people are living still persecution. They are being put in prison. They are being killed, and for the only of wanting to protect their land and wanting to continue practicing their culture that they have had for thousands of years. Many of these regions, they suffer racism constantly, and so listening to the testimonies and listening to the stories of the people was something that was very touching, and that really filled us with a sense of urgency for the planet to be able to hear us and hear the message of the real guardians of the forest, of the real guardians of the rainforest that have been there for thousands of years and that have their own voice, that don't need interpretation, that don't need other people to speak for them, because they are very well articulated, very well spoken, educated, and have a very strong sense of pride for their culture and for their territory, and know that their mission is to protect their territories for the future generations and for all of us, for all of the planet, because the Amazon holds a very important role in ecological balance. I want to share also that I am invited, and I have been traveling through part of my project Futura Amazonia, which is a platform that shares the stories of solutions coming from the Amazon. And I came into the flotilla also as part of Futura Amazonia to share this cultural and narrative shift. With Futura Amazonia, we created a communication toolkit for journalists and communicators on how to talk about the Amazon, and to transfer and to transform the language that we use to talk about the Amazon that sometimes perpetuates colonial and extractive language. And so the toolkit is available online. You can check futuramazonia.net, and it shares specific tools for communication journalists to be able to shift that narrative. And we believe that this is the moment where we need to change that narrative from an extractive and colonial narrative that is basically destroying the Amazon, to a moment where indigenous territories can be fully recognized. And that has been a big success of COP this week, where more than 10 indigenous territories were recognized by the government of Brazil, and more territories have been recognized. The Colombian government also declared the Amazon free of mining and oil. So that is a big achievement this week. And that's what Futura Amazonia is seeking, to be able to elevate those voices and to be able to push these narratives in media so that people can understand and share the messages coming from the territories here in the Amazon, and the important role that the Amazon has for maintaining a balance in the environment and in climate. Basically, what this is that we are very near a tipping point in the Amazon. It is said that if 20 or 25% of the Amazon is cut down, it will throw off completely the climate in the entire planet. And already 17% of the Amazon has been cut down. So we need to completely protect the Amazon from more deforestation, from illegal mining, and from oil drilling. And how that is done is by recognizing indigenous territory and indigenous sovereignty in their lands. And so that is what the message from here, from COP to the world, and from the Amazon Flotilla and Futura Amazonia, is the protection of and the recognition of the sovereignty of indigenous territories for all futures generations to come. It's not completely like that. Each country has to make their own progress in their own commitments to the stopping deforestation and to stopping mining and oil drilling in the Amazon. Colombia this week declared, the country of Colombia, that the Amazon will be free from oil and mining. That's Colombia. Unfortunately, in Ecuador, that is not the case, where more drilling has been announced in different areas of the Amazon, and where the current president is trying to expand oil drilling in many protected areas. So the indigenous people of Ecuador are here. Tomorrow we're going to do an action where we'll be doing projection on buildings here in Belém to share with the world that Noboa should stop oil drilling in the Amazon. And in the case of Brazil, there has been oil drilling announced just offshore in the Amazon, which is a terrible situation, and where there have been people here also denouncing the government of Brazil. There was a big people's march last Saturday, and a big indigenous march 2 days ago, where indigenous people were denouncing the continuous invasion of their territory through illegal mining, and the need for recognition and demarcation of indigenous territories, because when their territories are recognized, then it is much easier to be able to protect them from illegal invasion, such as illegal loggers and mining, illegal mining that are happening in their territories. And so what happened 2 days ago is that the government of Brazil announced the demarcation of 10 indigenous territories, of which I think 3 or 4 of them are in the Amazon. And that has been a big, exciting news for indigenous communities and for the Amazon here at COP. Nevertheless, it's not the end of the journey. Indigenous rights have to be included in the negotiations. The negotiations are happening right now as we speak, where there are more oil lobbyists than indigenous people inside the COP discussions. A lot of indigenous people were not allowed to have a badge and an entrance to the official discussions. I myself was not able to get a badge to be able to be inside of the blue zone, what's called the blue zone. The blue zone is where all of the official delegations of governments and NGOs are speaking and are participating in the official negotiations. So the official negotiations are still going on, and we have to demand that indigenous rights be included in the official statements from the United Nations. This is a very key moment in time in history because we have the biggest climate conference happening inside of the Amazon, and the Amazon is very near its tipping point. And if we don't recognize indigenous territory, and if the governments don't do everything that they have in their hands right now to stop the deforestation of the Amazon, we could very much reach the tipping point. So this is an opportunity that we have, and that the governments of the Amazonian countries and that the governments of the world have to support the governments of Amazonian country to do everything we can to protect the Amazon. And that starts with the recognition of indigenous people's rights and indigenous people's territories, and the stopping of the persecution of indigenous leaders, the stopping of the assassination of indigenous leaders, the recognizing of their territorial rights, and complete cancellation of oil and mining in their territories. So we need all hands on deck for the survival of humanity. And that's what we're here for. That's what the flotilla came to do. And that's why we're here at COP today. I was not there that day. There are many indigenous groups and many indigenous organizations and delegations. Even though many indigenous organizations do have a seat at the table, many felt excluded, and they broke down the barriers to be able to go in, and also to say a statement. Saying a statement, we need to have a seat at the table. It's not enough to just have a few people. You're in our territories. We are in the entire world. Leaders are sitting here at the discussion in an indigenous land. So, and there's more oil lobbyists than indigenous people inside the discussion. So they got angry and they broke down the barriers. I have no idea which group that was, which organization led that protest. I'm not sure. There have been many protests during the week. Another day, the Munduruku people did a peaceful protest and blocked the entrance into the United Nations, and which granted them a private meeting with the government and the Ministry of the Environment and the Ministry of Indigenous People. And this week, their territory was also recognized, and a mega project that was being developed there was canceled. So there have been many, many protests, many, many discussions, and those were some of them.
Project Biome is a systems change organization focused on a simple framework for uniting the 10.5 million nonprofits functioning around the world into a single organism of transformation. Rewilding rivers and coastlines combined with regenerative agricultural systems and agroforestry throughout the continent of Africa and beyond will prepare this planet for its great rebirth. For the last couple thousand years, it's been accelerating a desertification cycle, a great death of ecosystems. The layering on of industrial revolution of human systems has accelerated the death of maybe 50% of the planet now. And this is preparing us for this phenomenal rebirth process. And so as this planet moves towards this rebirth, there's an opportunity for us as humans to step into our right relationship. We could step back into this birthright of a keystone species, one that will increase the biodiversity and life force wherever it touches the planet. It's happening in backyards and in farm fields and in communities worldwide today. The systems of regeneration and rewilding are taking a hold on nearly every continent, and the speed at which nature recovers is speaking a new message of grace and forgiveness of the biology of this planet towards a human species that has forgotten our role. In our remembrance, we move into the keystone relationship that has long been felt. We have a sense that it is not humans and our populations that threaten the planet and its vitality, but it is the psyche of a species believing itself to be separate. When we remember ourselves connected, we will become part of the solution for a rebirthing so great and grand that it is difficult to imagine where this planet will go. The last extinction took us from dinosaurs to birds, mammals, and the rest. This next rebirth process will see more connected, interconnected species in their participation of the reimagining of this planet than ever before. The carbon dioxide that continues to rise in the atmosphere through the death of our soils promises the deepest inspiration that the Earth will ever take when we put ourselves into right relationship with those soil systems and the flora and fauna that will come from them. Rewilding, regeneration, and reconnected economies will take us back into a situation in which every industry gets to be part of the solution. Every industry becomes keystone to its environment, and an interconnected bioregional economic structure will reunite human ingenuity and activity with the biologies beneath our feet and around us. Chronic disease goes away in a world in which interconnected biology becomes our new reality. Project Biome believes we are on the precipice of not the great calamity, but the great rebirth of not just the planet, but human nature. Join us at Project Biome.
Those of us that are in the modern world, it is vital for us to remember, which is going back to the very simple principles of the nature of our bodies and this earth, and any of the indigenous tribes. It's their way of life where they are living very close to the earth, and they are using things like song and dance and coming together outside at night around a fire, for example, to pray and to release and let go of any emotions or things that don't serve, and be able to call in what they're ready to receive. And there's not a reaching for the interconnecting, that sense of interconnectedness with all of life. There's a deep knowing. And in the modern world, our desire with this Origin project is, in this moment of the actual event next October 2026, is that to have 1 billion people go outside and put their feet on the earth and remember.
This prayer will be created and led by Indigenous First Nation elders. So imagine a prayer, imagine this moment when the whole world is leaning in and honoring this moment of connection. And the prayer will be, each line of the prayer will be spoken by an Indigenous elder from different lands across the world. And the first line of the prayer will be from New Zealand, where the sun hits the first country on the earth in our sort of 24-hour clock. So then it will travel all across the world with all these different nations. All these different First Nation elders will be sharing with their true mother tongue a line from a sacred prayer or a ceremonial song or some piece of wisdom will be shared. And then there'll be a spoken English translation as well. So as a one piece of prayer, it'll be fully coherent. So that's the idea, and that's the kickoff moment for this synchronized moment. After the prayer, the second part of the synchronized global moment is an invitation for everyone to touch the earth. So we're inviting everyone to put their hands on the earth. If you can, go out into nature, go out into a city park and touch the earth and make 3 affirmations from yourself of what you see as a new future for our planet. And the third part, after we do that, is this moment of global celebration, and it'll be a synchronized global music track that will be uplifting. And then the idea then is to bring it into your body and dance it.
Count your blessing, one by one. I say one by one. Don't stress cause you're blessed. When you count your blessing, take time to live free. On how much you got, yeah. It may not be all that you want. Remember someone somewhere is dreaming to have what you got. Oh, what you got. somewhere is dreaming to have what you got. I say what you got. Oh, my blessing come from above. Blessed are the mighty and majestic, King of King, Lion and the Lamb. Who just blesses, no one can curse. Count your blessings one by one. Who just blesses, no one can curse. Count your blessings one by one. Waking up in the morning time, I and I count my blessings one by one. You give me joy as deep as the ocean. I won't stress cause I know I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Oh, my children, I am blessed. I'm blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Oh, my blessings come from above. Blessed are the mighty and majestic, King of Kings, Lion and the Lamb. Who just blesses, no one can curse. No one can curse. Count your blessings one by one. Take a minute and thank the Father, yeah, for all your blessings. Count your joy, not your woes. Share your smile, let go your fears. When you count your blessings, count your life trust. Every brother needs a blessing. I won't stress cause I'm blessed. Count your blessing in the morning time. Count your blessing every day and every night. Count your blessing. Come your way. Count your blessing. Count your blessing one by one. One by one. One by one. Count your blessing one by one. One by one.
There is no us and them. There is only us. We're all connected, bound by one planet, one shared destiny. The time has come to change the narrative and remember who we truly are. Beyond borders and differences. Let us heal what has been divided and restore balance to the earth we share. Join the Origin Global Celebration, October 17, 2026. Uniting 1 billion hearts in a synchronized moment of intention. One humanity rising together. The moment has come.